Welcome to the bad dream, where nightmares come to life and darkness reigns supreme. Tonight we delve into the chilling tales that surround one of the most feared dates on the calendar. Hold your breath and brace yourself, for we are about to explore the sinister legends and inexplicable tragedies that have cast a shadow over Friday the 13th. A date shrouded in darkness, myth, and fear. Since the dawn of recorded history, this day has been associated with misfortune, disaster, and inexplicable deaths. For many, it's simply a superstition, a joke passed down through generations. But for others, this day represents something far more sinister, a curse that lingers, waiting to strike when we least expect it. Our first story takes us to Victoria, Australia. The year was 1939, and the date, Friday the 13th, January. It was a day that started like any other, but as the hours passed, a foreboding sense of doom filled the air. By noon, the skies had turned an ominous red, casting a sinister glow over the landscape. Unbeknownst to the residents, a deadly force was approaching, a force that would come to be known as Black Friday. As temperatures soared and winds intensified, wildfires erupted across Victoria, consuming everything in their path. Entire towns were swallowed by flames, homes reduced to ashes, and families torn apart in a matter of hours. The devastation was unimaginable. Over 2 million acres of land burned. 71 people lost their lives, and countless animals perished in the inferno. But there was something strange about these fires. Survivors reported hearing unnatural sounds, howling that seemed to come not from the wind, but from the very heart of the flames. Some claimed to have seen figures moving within the smoke, shadowy shapes that danced among the flames. Was it all just hysteria, born from fear? Or had Friday the 13th unleashed something more than just a wildfire? Our next tale takes us high into the Andes Mountains. On October 13th, 1972, a Uruguayan plane carrying 45 passengers, including a rugby team, was flying over the rugged, snow-covered peaks. Everything was going according to plan, until disaster struck. The plane crashed, stranded in one of the most remote and unforgiving regions of the world. For the survivors, it was a nightmare that would last for 72 agonizing days. With no hope of rescue, the survivors faced freezing temperatures, starvation, and isolation. As the days dragged on, the once hopeful passengers descended into madness and despair. Many succumbed to their injuries and the bitter cold. The living were forced to make an unthinkable choice to survive. They resorted to cannibalism, eating the flesh of their dead companions. But the horror didn't end there. Survivors later recounted strange occurrences in the dead of night. They spoke of voices whispering in the darkness, guiding them toward grisly decisions. Some claimed to have seen the spirits of their dead companions watching over them, their eyes filled with sorrow and accusation. Was this simply the madness of survival, or something more? The Andes crash will forever be linked to Friday the 13th, a day when the line between life and death becomes blurred. July the 13th, 1977, New York City. It was a hot summer evening, and the streets were bustling with life. But as the clock struck 9:30 p.m., the lights went out, plunging the city into complete darkness. What followed was nothing short of chaos. Looting, fires, and violence spread like wildfire as fear and panic gripped the city. But was this just a simple power failure? Or was there a darker force at play? Many residents claimed to have seen strange figures moving in the shadows during the blackout. Others reported hearing footsteps behind them, only to turn around and find no one there. The darkness seemed alive, watching, waiting, and as the violence escalated, people began to wonder, was it just human nature driving the madness, or was something else pulling the strings? Finally, we arrive at one of the deadliest tragedies in human history. On Friday the 13th, in November 1970, the Bola cyclone struck East Pakistan, now Bangladesh, and the Indian state of West Bengal. With winds reaching over 115 miles per hour, the cyclone swept across the region, leaving devastation in its wake. Villages were swallowed by the sea, entire families swept away in an instant. An estimated 300,000 to 500,000 people lost their lives. In the aftermath, survivors spoke of strange occurrences. Many claimed that the animals had sensed the disaster long before it arrived, fleeing in panic days before the cyclone hit. Others reported seeing shadowy figures walking along the shoreline, as if beckoning the storm toward them. Could it have been the spirits of the dead, seeking revenge on Friday the 13th? But perhaps the strangest tale comes from a small, isolated village in Eastern Europe. The year was 1913, and the village had always been known for its eerie silence. Life moved slowly, and the villagers were deeply superstitious. On Friday, June 13th, something unimaginable happened. Every single resident of the village vanished overnight. Homes were left untouched, meals were still on tables, and doors stood wide open. No sign of struggle, no tracks, no explanation. As search parties combed the surrounding forests and mountains, they found nothing. No bodies, no clues, just emptiness. The only thing left behind were whispers of an ancient curse. Elders from neighboring villages told of a dark presence that once haunted the area, a presence that was said to take entire villages on the eve of Friday the 13th as a blood sacrifice. For years, explorers and researchers have visited the abandoned village, hoping to uncover the truth. But those who stay overnight report strange occurrences: lights flickering in the abandoned homes, disembodied voices calling their names, and shadows moving in the corners of their vision. Some say that the village still waits for its missing residents to return, while others believe that the dark presence is still there, waiting for more souls to claim. 5 tragedies, all occurring on the cursed date of Friday the 13th. Coincidence? Or is there something more to this date? Something ancient, something dark, waiting for the right moment to strike. From wildfires and plane crashes to city blackouts, cyclones, and entire villages vanishing without a trace, Friday the 13th has been a day marked by unexplainable horrors. Perhaps the next Friday the 13th will be just another day, or perhaps it will be your turn to face the curse.